Let's talk about how I make videos here for YouTube. I'm going to walk through everything that I do to create these videos, including some free software, some paid software, and just some sort of tips and tricks and editing things along the way. So tune in. Hey everyone, I'm James and I'm back with another video. This time, a lot of you asked me, how do I make these videos right here on YouTube? And it's a great question. Do I pay tons of money? Do I have an editor? Do I have all that type of stuff? Well, the answer is I use some free software and I use some paid software, to be honest with you. So a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Now, that being said, I do everything. So I come in and I create all the content, I edit all the content, I publish all the content. I have an amazing design team that works with me on thumbnails and branding and design. So those really cool thumbnails and me doing wacky things like that. I have some awesome friends over at Cinder that help me with that. It's very similar to how I edit and create the podcast Merge Conflict with my buddy Frank, just different software and different editing software to create and edit it and of course publish it as well. But just like that show, I do everything on the YouTube channel, all in my spare time, super for fun. So what I want to do is break down some of the different software that I use to do it. So let's check it out. So the first thing that I use is OBS. That's right, Open Broadcast Software. This is the same exact software that I use to broadcast to YouTube or to Twitch. Many streamers use this software, and I made a video on how to record your desktop with OBS, and funnily enough, that's exactly how I do it. So inside of OBS, I really have two scenes and a transition. The first thing that you'll note over here is that I have a bunch of different sources on the bottom left, but I mostly use this one, which is webcam and overlay, and then I have another one that is called computer, which you're going to see a repeating over and over and over again, OBS inside of itself. All right, so nothing really crazy there. So why do I use this thing? Well, I use it because it's extremely lightweight. It's really easy to record, and it also does a bunch of audio processing. I talked in my video how I add some filters. So for example, a limiter and noise suppression. And I also have an overlay. So for example, here's the overlay of my initials and my tags over there. And I can toggle on and off my webcam too. Now, a few things that I do is I just record in 1920 by 1080. So if we actually go into my settings and we go into video, we can see 1920 by 1080. I just do the normal desktop audio there, and that's honestly about it. The only other thing that I'm really doing is I have a stream deck down here, which you can't really see too much, but a little bit. And I just have a few buttons. I have a webcam button, I have a computer button, and a start-stop recording button. The cable's a little short, so I can't really show it there. And one to control my microphone. And to be honest, that's all I do. So I come in and I just simply start, recording it, and that's it. And then what I do is I set up this scene over here to have a source. So for example, if I bring this up, here is Visual Studio with my coffee application in this case, and I am recording it right there. So that's pretty much all that I'm doing over and over and over again inside of this thing. If I bring back OBS, then you'll see this here as well. And sure enough, I'm totally done. Now, what's important is that you have a start recording, you have a manage broadcast, start broadcast. You just want to start recording, and that's it. The thing that I do in the settings too is when I go to my output, I just output things at 3200 kilobytes, and then I output it as MP4. Just makes it easier to edit it when I'm done. And again, OBS is freely available, and you can get it on Mac, Windows, Linux completely for free, which is really amazing. Now, the other piece of software that I use is called Camtasia. So Camtasia is an all-in-one sort of screen recording and video editor. Now, I don't use it for screen recording at all. I use it only for video editing and exporting because it enables very quick cuts, basically, of the video. And if we look at it here, there's a free trial. I'm not exactly sure what the pricing is. I guess it was, yeah, like $200 and some odd for an individual license. And I bought it a long time ago and kind of upgrade along the way. Most of the versions of Camtasia have been the same there. One other thing I'll mention though is a lot of people like DaVinci Resolve. This is completely like free DaVinci Resolve. You can get the studio version. You can export it. It's very advanced, got a lot of cool features. I've used it before, but for me, since most of my videos are under 20 minutes, Camtasia is really, really great for editing. Anything super duper long, then DaVinci Resolve is really, really nice for that. So if you're looking for something there, definitely check out DaVinci Resolve, and I will put things into the show notes as well. All right, so I record right here in OBS. Then what I do is I take that file, ideally in one cut. I don't actually stop recording ever. I start recording and I keep going. And the reason that I do that is because it makes it easier to edit. If I make any mistakes, normally what I do is I'll pause. I make sure I don't move my mouse or I don't move the code or anything like that. I come back to my state and you'll see those kind of quick cuts, if you will. And that's really important because, you need to be able to edit those in and out wherever you're at. So I do that, and that makes it really easy to cut those different sections out. And then I take that MP4 and I bring it into Camtasia to start editing. So let's head over to Camtasia and take a look at how I do that there. All right, now we are over inside of Camtasia. Now I have a template that I use over here, and it basically just has some of my animations, and it has those little pop-ups that probably annoy everybody, and then my outro as well. So I just kind of created this template and then export it there. Now Camtasia is very, very simple. So inside of your media library here, you have some assets. So here are my intro and outro, my icons, and I used to do that thumbs up over there, which is nice. There are some other things like libraries. So there's some like intros and lower thirds. You might have seen those if I had something in my background. I don't do much with annotations unless you see some text that pops up on the screen. I'll bring those in. Or for example, you can also blur and highlight things too. So if I wanted to, for some reason, like blur out Mooch's face here, I could blur that out, which is quite nice. And those are all really built in, or lots of arrows too. Arrows are always good. Some of the transitions that are nice is you can do like different fading. So actually, I actually apply a fade here as it fades out as well, which is nice. And then there's flips and folds and all that stuff. So let me show you what that looks like. The first thing that we're going to do to actually get some of the stuff in there is I'm going to go into my video folder here. And this is the video. Well, I'm recording one right now in OBS, but here's my other one. And I'll go ahead and take that and drag that in. So that's that opening that you saw in the beginning over there. And that's about a minute long. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. Perfect. There's me. Fantastic. So then what I do is I hold down Control and I kind of zoom in here and sort of get a lay of the land of what I want to do. And these are in layers, so tracks. So you can see that this layer goes on top of another layer and goes from there. So what I'll normally do is I'll come in and I will trim the very, very beginning. So you don't just have to stare at my face. There we go. And then I will go ahead and do that. Now there's also transitions. So I usually put a fade on there. So that does that nice little fade right there, which is cool. If I wanted to get crazy, I want to put a flip for some reason. So you can do these flip animations. Lots of nice things there. I like a nice simple fade, which is nice. And that just go ahead and fades in. Boom. I can also check on the audio on the right-hand side. And if for some reason it's coming through as stereo, but only out of one ear, you could always mix to mono, which is great too. So this is pretty nice. So what I do is I come in and I say, okay, where did I stop? Well, I stopped right here. So let me go ahead and right click on this little thing and I can say split selected. So I select this bottom track, say split selected, and I can start to move these segments around. So here I can just kind of move this around, and I line up my different text that's going here, like as I'm hearing it, as I'm listening to it. So there we go, tune in, blah, 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 blah. Amazing. Then I also have these little bumpers, so you can copy and paste these around. And if I wanted to, we can see that that shows up on there too. And it's very, very, very nice. So that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. Some of the other things that we do, I mean, it's really honestly simple. I'm not gonna lie, is I mostly do animations. So let me bring in one more track, which is the screen recording. So here's that screen recording I did. So I'm gonna bring that into the media and drag this over into here. Awesome. So this is gonna be what I would like fade to afterwards. There we go, cool. So I'd probably cut this out here and do a cut and do some transition or some fade that I would build in. But here we have these different settings. So here's me talking and we can see there's audio here. If I needed to, I could adjust that because that's gonna come from Camtasia where I recorded it. And I can adjust it just to kind of make sure the levels are correct. There are some audio effects. So if I wanted audio compression or fade out or fade in, I can add those to the track as well. So you can control that. The biggest thing that I do is like here For example, I'm showing this scene on the bottom left here. So what I can do is I can do this animation and I can zoom in and do this here and basically pivot this zoom panel over here. And what that's going to do is it adds this little thing down here, and then it actually zooms it in as I'm going. So we'll see right there, boom. So it zooms it into as much as you want. And then I hit this scale to fit to zoom it back out, and that will go ahead and zoom it back out. So you can see that animation play in here where it zooms in and zooms back out. And of course I can remove those as well, or you can move them around too. So if you need to move it around, you can do that too, or delete it. So I'll go through and I'll edit this video. I'll take out any of those weird cuts where maybe I mess up. And then what I'll do is I will go ahead and slap a few of these, little register, sign up type of things. And then I'll put this bumper at the end. And I'll say, okay, amazing. Let me go ahead and put this in here and done. Now, of course, I haven't finished this editing because I'm literally recording the video that I'm editing in real time. So I will use this. So what I'm going to do is when I'm all finished and I bring this in, is I'll export it. So there's a few different settings that I use in exporting. The first thing that I do is I do an MP4 audio only. And the reason I do that is I bring it into an application called Descript. And what Descript will do is it will go ahead and do machine translations on it, which are really nice. I showed that in the podcast video. I'll put a link up over there somewhere. So I'll go ahead and just go through and I'll say whatever the name is, I'll finish it, and it exports it pretty quick, the M4A audio track, and it exports it and puts it onto a file, and boom, I have something ready to go. And once I export the audio track, I'll start the translations and the descriptions and all those things, and I'll be ready to go, because actually exporting the MP4 takes some more time. So then what I'll do is I'll export. I use custom settings, MP4. I remove the controller because you don't need like a whole web page. My size is 1920 by 1080. My video settings, I usually set to around 80% compression, 30 frames per second. Use the rest of the default, 128 audio, totally is good. I've never really done 100% quality because, YouTube is going to reanalyze it and do some things too. But, as they say here, the settings above 75% is basically exactly the same. But if you want to get crazy with it, the higher you put this, the higher it's going to be. I just hit next. If, make sure you uncheck watermark or anything like that. Hit next, wherever you want to go, and you finish it. And you're done. That's literally it. And you've finished it and you upload it to YouTube, add some information, and you're like totally good. Like, how amazing is that? To be honest with you. So honestly, there you have it. That is how easy it is to actually get started creating your own videos with OBS completely for free. Now, if you don't want to do any editing, it's not going to cost you anything, or you can use things like DaVinci Resolve, or I'm sure there's other free editors on the internet too. So take a look at those. But you don't have to do that much, to be honest with you. As long as you set up your OBS to do some nice audio mixing for free, which is built in, start recording, and then export it and upload it to YouTube, you are good to go. The most important parts that I've learned is make sure that you have a nice title, obviously, a nice thumbnail. Like I said, I have a whole nice design team that helps me out. But when I got started, I didn't. I just made a nice little template for myself. There's an application on the internet that I'll show everyone as well. It's called Photopea.com. What's cool about Photopea is it's Photoshop on the internet. So you can create a new project just like this, do all this stuff here. They have templates, they have everything in there. It's really, really cool. So you can use Photopea, you can create your thumbnails. They have YouTube cover artwork for you. Like, they have the templates that you already need right there, which is really cool. And you can start putting something out onto the internet. Like I said, output it to 1920 by 1080, or capture it and export it there, and you'll be totally good to go. Other thing that you can do too is YouTube does have some editing inside of YouTube Studio itself. So if you're just making small tweaks or need to highlight things, you can actually cut and edit there. It does take some time to post process, but you can upload your raw file and do some editing as well, which is nice. Like I said, don't forget to put those thumbnails. Don't forget to put like a nice title, description. The other things that you'll really want to do at the end of the day is make sure that you actually put in some other additional captions as well. So I upload the captions. Here you can see overlaid there, but definitely take a look down here in my show notes where I have links to code. I have links to join the channel, buy swag, follow me, but also add chapters. Those are really, really nice because those are going to enable you to do these nice little overlays, and it gives you everything you need there. And then, of course, one other thing that you can do is add these hashtags down at the bottom. So here's the chapters here. The hashtags, they show up right above the videos, and you can tap on .NET, and it'll bring you to more .NET videos and see other related things there. There's Nick, there's Scott over there. So a lot of cool things happening in that realm. Anyways, there you have it. It's actually not hopefully too difficult to get up and running and started creating your own YouTube videos, going into Visual Studio or whatever editor you use, put out some awesome stuff that, that you're really passionate about and show the world. That's going to do it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. It's a short, quick one overview. I'll link to my other videos like doing screen capturing and also how I edit the podcast, where I show you Descript, which is an application that can actually machine translate your audio to closed captioning. If you have any questions, let me know, and I can do a follow-up video or a lot more. I'll put that into the show notes. That's pretty much it. I'll put a link to the Stream Deck, which I love, completely not necessary. And of course, you can use your webcam. I'm using a GoPro. I have a GoPro Hero 4 that actually outputs to an Elgato capture device as well through HDMI. That's what I'm using, nothing fancy. And I just have some cool stuff on my background. That's it. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. If you like this video or you like my other ones, give it a thumbs up. Heck, if you made it this far, you should really be jamming on that like button because I'm really, really proud of you. Only like 20% of you make it this far. So one, I love you. Thank you so much. And of course, if you come this far and you haven't subscribed, jam that subscription button. And of course, share it with other people. Those all go into the YouTube algorithm of goodness, and I super appreciate it. Until next time, I'm James. Thanks for watching.